chances are, if you ask somebody if they love art and ask them to name a famous work of art they love, they're going to mention a work from the Art Institute of Chicago. That's because the Art Institute of Chicago is one of the largest collections of iconic paintings in the world. Plus, it's one of the most frequently visited museums in the United States. Welcome. Welcome to Project Windows. I'm Stanley Smith. Today we're visiting the website for the Art Institute of Chicago and their Project Windows Partners page. This summer, the blockbuster exhibit at the museum is Kaibat um, Painting His World, and it's exemplified here in this Project Windows interactive community building display contest as Kaibat in the City. Let's take a quick look at some of the participants this year. Each year, the Art Institute does. It reaches out to the community all over the city in every neighborhood and invites people to create a display or interaction based on the exhibit. Of course, many of you might be familiar with the famous painting, Rainy Day, which is a permanent display at the Art Institute. It did travel to Musée d'Orsay in Paris as part of the show, but now it's back in Chicago, along with a lot of other works that have really never been seen before, most notably the floor scrapers. So different stores and retailers and businesses and locations around the city got in on the act. Here's a colorful display at 330 South Michigan Avenue and also at 900 North Michigan Avenue. 900 was actually a very active participant. They did a projection screen display on the ceiling of the sixth floor atrium on North Michigan Avenue, and a couple fashion windows on the Walton Street side of the building, inspired by Rainy Day. Very nice. And the Berghoff restaurant has a series of paintings. I think there's actually digitally created paintings based on photographs of the city of iconic scenes, which translated and related to the Gustav Kaibat originals. There's another version of the Berghoff restaurant. Berghoff restaurant is an iconic landmark restaurant right in the heart of the Loop. This was a painting, a plein air painting done by Deborah Popley from the Plein Air Painters of Chicago. And she painted a scene of a couple walking down Adams Street. I don't know if we can quite make out the Art Institute at the end of the street, but I think we might see the peaked roof down there. And a couple with the umbrellas on their own personal rainy day. This is a fun display at the Blackstone Hotel by Diana Doms, first-time participant. She's a textile artist, and she reupholstered this chair in this really stunning gunmetal vinyl and accented with pillows and printed this beautiful Gustav Kaibat painting on silk fabric. This is in the lobby of the Blackstone Hotel, also an iconic location here in Chicago. If you're familiar with the local lore, Blackstone Hotel is where the infamous smoke-filled room originated, right here in Chicago. Luxury retailer Buccellati on East Oak Street. We're not giving a display for most minimal, but this could be in that category. There are a number of different categories, and actually, I have the sheets right now. I'm tabulating the votes from all the different judges onto a master sheet to determine who are the winners this year. It's still a work in progress. This display is at the Loop Synagogue, also in the heart of the city, heart of the Loop, and it's actually an art center in itself. They're noted for a remarkable Moreau stained glass in the second floor sanctuary, and they've been very interested in reaching out and breaking down barriers and opening up to the heart of the city. And they welcomed this partnership with the Art Institute this summer. On the right here is Chicago Tea House. And currently on our list, our voting sheet, we do have this as, so it's getting there on the humor. I learned from the judges after, I'm still waiting for sheets, but I'm tabulating all the different sheets, that humor was kind of on the thin side. I'll need to talk to Gloria Groom about this, but seemed like the Gustav Kaibat theme was kind of serious, but Chicago Tea House has this very fun couple, everything but the couple, the most important parts, the teacups and your lips, I guess, from your teacup to to their ears and their lips at Chicago Tea House. This is Christoph store, Christoph on East Oak Street. Some framed reproductions of his work in silver frames and rather lavish silver jewelry and serviceware. And Nicole, the manager at Christoph, actually hosted a private reception for Gustav Kaibat's niece during this summer season. And I didn't get invited, but I appreciate the tremendous effort and integration of that event. This is a display at the Drake Hotel on North Michigan Avenue at Walton. Drake's always a participant. Happy to have them again this year. This is a display exhibit, art exhibit right here in the Fine Arts Building where I'm broadcasting from, second floor gallery. And this was the Chicago Sculpture International group that put together selected works based on, inspired by Gustav Kaibat. So we saw a lot of distressed surfaces, patina. This is actually a graphite panel, and a number of different works that aqua and different colors that there's one graphite grouping that was almost like the paving stones of rainy day. It's very fun, a very fun show. This display is at the LaSalle Hotel. This is by Diana Slavero. She is the second year in a row. She's been participating. She's a collage artist. She took a lot of different paintings and images of Kaibat and made collages and was paired together with this window display and fashion theme. This is at Lester Lambert. This is by a veteran designer, Dee Broadlow, here in downtown Chicago and also the western suburbs and North Shore. And Lester Lambert is an iconic local Chicago brand, originally on Michigan Avenue, on East Oak Street for many years, and now on Huron Street. Lovely, lovely store, fine jewelry, estate jewelry, and specializing in customer service. Macy's on State, continuing the tradition of the Marshall Field and Company. It's the anchor of fashion, retail, and in many ways culture, continues to be. We're very thankful for Macy's to continue carrying the legacy of Marshall Field and fine retailing in the loop. The Mangle Florist Shop, bunch of black umbrellas and illuminated characters and Paris-inspired pillows. Mangle's Florist is actually also at Drake Hotel on North Michigan Avenue. Across the street is Marshall Pearson Company, a regular participant in Project Windows. They do a beautiful job integrating a reproduction of a work. And then with little paint buckets and brushes, they actually have little characters and ladders and miniatures of the actual painting scene. It's especially charming this season at Marshall Pierce. Marshall Pierce has been one of our most active Instagram posters. If you're following Project Windows or the Art Institute, you'll see some of their reels and some of their postings about the production of this window. Patrice Olson at the Monadnock building. Monadnock building, boy, we are specializing in iconic locations and brands this season. Monadnock building really deserves an award in itself because they really met us where we were this summer, really looking for locations downtown to feature some participants who didn't have a location or didn't have a designer, didn't have a venue, and Monadnock was very welcoming. So they opened this space on the street level to artist Patrice Olson. And she set up a Kaibat-inspired art studio, painting paintings of the building itself, and regularly engaging with tenants in the building and the public. The Mindworks people, first time participant, and I do love the Mindworks people because I don't think they knew they couldn't do it a window display, but they did one anyway. They dressed male and female figure in clothing and apparel and giftware from the museum. The museum specializes in research analysis, and you're welcome to go in there and participate in some of the interactive displays on South Michigan Avenue. Neiman Marcus at North Michigan Avenue at 737 North Michigan Avenue. Lewis and his team, again, another very significant anchor in the city, next to the Marshall Field building downtown. The freestanding Neiman Marcus store on North Michigan Avenue is truly an anchor. Excellent selection of stores, meticulously maintained. It's a museum in itself of fashion, accessories, and beauty. And they pulled out all the stops pairing this iteration of Gustav Kaibart painting, which is kind of updated for modern time, along with the apparel pulled together from our contemporary world with the styling of another time. This view next to it is the Monadnock building again, and this is the Plein Air Painters of Chicago, an exhibit that was, we were shopping this around all summer. It did find a home, again, thanks to the Monadnock people. And also kudos to Vishon, the photographer for Project Windows, for capturing this photo. I think it was 2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. Kind of a difficult shot. A lot of window photography can be challenging, but he did a very good job. And this was a cute, fun, charming exhibit of individual works from individual artists from the plein air painters of Chicago. And it was a pleasure to have them at that location. This window is at the shops at Northbridge on North Michigan Avenue, I believe 520 North Michigan Avenue. And this is Robin Malthus, who paired Gustav painted image with a modern contemporary photograph of herself in a coordinating scene. And it's paired with fashion from the shops at Northbridge, styled by Dee Broadlow. And next to it, we have the Posh at 613 North State. It's in the Tree Studios building. And Posh, the judges, we do send these judges out every year. Not everyone's a participant, but they always ask, well, why isn't Posh on this list? Really, thanks to artist Allison Lyon, we got them on the list. We simply asked if you'd like to participate. And we're so glad they did because they really are, again, another anchor for visual merchandising. They do a consistently fantastic job. And the photography on the website of the windows is always, it's superb. So truly a pleasure. I heard this summer while Allison was working on her window that Martha Stewart stopped into Posh to check it all out. And I'm almost certain she wasn't disappointed. Another window at Shops at Northbridge on the third floor, styled by Dee Broadlow. As the cityscape emerges and develops in our post-pandemic period, still have some empty spaces and some of the vertical shopping center space and street level space, and can't do much better than calling on a visual merchandiser to make something out of that. I am remiss also. I realized we almost missed Deborah Popley's window display at Shops at Northbridge, also on facing Michigan Avenue. Deb painted this charming scene of a boy walking his dog across the Chicago Bridge. And we were more than happy to partner this with Shops at Northbridge for between Robin's paintings of bridges or iterations of bridges and Deb's paintings of bridges, it all came together under the umbrella of Shops at Northbridge. We're not above crass commercialism here at Project Windows. At 900 North Michigan Avenue, Sanjay Taylor at the Tauscher Chocolates of Switzerland, longtime participant, and she always handcrafts something really amazing and beautiful. And she created her own Kaibart painting reproduction in alternative materials and paired it with kind of the seascape scene, along with delicious chocolates. Can't do much better than that. Another first-time artist participant was Ann Pickett, who scouted out her own location. She found a place with the Batu restaurant cafe at the Pendry Hotel on North Michigan Avenue, just over the bridge. She painted these in her own style, her own Kaibart style iteration of river scenes, and partnered it with top hats, which she also painted with floaters on top and various different props. Later on, I almost saw this as like a little museum display all by itself. Very, very nice. And Anne actually hosted an opening reception, which was something that the Batu people, Karen at Batu, suggested. If we're going to have a art display, we must have an art opening. So art opening was a good idea this year from Project Windows participants. And also the idea of titles, having a title for your window display was also a fun idea that emerged. Penelope Thresher, actually at Water Tower Place, is the one that asked, insisted, suggested we have a title. And she entitled her window Umbrella Groves. And this is at the fourth floor at Water Tower Place. Next to it at Water Tower Place is a window display by Anne Latinovich, who has original paintings inspired by Kaibat. Very artfully arranged here in this kind of artist studio space. On the north side, we had the Andersonville neighborhood. The Chamber of Commerce kind of led the way of recruiting and encouraging and supporting many first-time participants. So they created this beautiful mural of the Andersonville neighborhood. And this one especially caught our attention, my attention, Andersonville Gallery. You zoom in and take a look at this painting picture. It's actually constructed out of little blocks of wood and alternative material. It's like a mosaic. It was really stunning. Usually we have craftsmanship or materials. I don't know if we had that exact category on here, but it did get many of the windows got checks in every box of light, design, color, composition, interactive, impressionistic, interpretive. This one seemed to hit on all the points, and we'll see if we have a winner for that. And the Apothecary EO skincare for gents. Personally, I love this. I love anything with an awning. I wasn't sure if this was always at the store or if they added it for this um, particular promotion, but we like everything that's going on here. In the Lakeview area, we have Grishma Shaw, another first-time artist participating with the Chicago Diner. And she created a Kaibat Under the Sea, painting this world under the sea theme, which I think threw some people for a loop, but I liked it. And it seems to work. And then later on, I even realized that the painting above, the jellyfish, is kind of like an umbrella. Another first time, actually second time artist. Last year, Brianna Perry participated in Bronzeville. And this year she found a location closer to home. She started out Chicago Diner, Logan Square, and her inspiration was a Kaibat painting, nude on a couch, which is pictured on this placard promoting Project Windows. It's a nude reclining on a sofa, and on the sofa you can see the floral print. So she took the floral print, the petals of the flower, and she extrapolated that into this colorful design for the window display. And I love that inspiration, and I appreciate Brianna bringing us the Chicago Diner at two locations into the contest this year. Here we have Carl at Everybody's Coffee. And this year he put all his coffee into one boat into this display. And I don't think this got checks for humor, but it could have. I said humor was on the thin side, but again, all the votes are not in from our judges, but we'll keep an eye on that one. But very nice display, Carl. And hey, I thought of you. I love that name of the store. This is in Albany Park, and it's a painted reproduction along with other artifacts and design elements. Very, very nice. Los Barillos, we actually had the proprietors of this shop on one of our Zoom calls to meet the artists. And we're reminded of some of the craftsmanship and artistry and technical challenges. So they explained that the artists of this work, the floor scrapers, this version of the floor scrapers, actually had to be painted in reverse to create that effect. So she painted it from the inside, starting with what was last first. I'm not even sure how she did that. People think artists are scattered, but somebody had their head on pretty straight for that one. I give them credit for that. Again, we don't have technical skill that we could have. This window in the Pulaski Elston Business District in Albany Park was painted by Sid Smiley. And Sid also had a fun backstory on the Meet the Artist call about how she she had like 48 hours notice. Because again, she was a willing participant, an able, very able participant, a skilled participant, scouting for a location. And with the support of the Pulaski Elston Business Association, she luckily did find a location, but she probably didn't have the full support and advantage of having a secure location soon enough. But she did a great job. And again, it speaks to the veracity and flexibility, tenacity. I'll have to get my thesaurus out, of all the different qualities it takes to be an artist, support artists, and be in the business of art. The Sense Queen, and also in Albany Park. If you zoom into this picture on the partners page, you can see a lot of detail. Looks like a lovely, lovely shop. And they created a very clean, crisp presentation. Everything lovely under the umbrellas. Vase and Vessel, it's leaning toward best design, which I guess is pretty good for tabletop home and flowers. Looks like they're pairing flower arrangements with painted versions of the same. The Gustav Kaibart painting his world. I mean, we don't ask people to reinvent the world. We ask people to incorporate art and beauty into their world. So these people are doing just that, working with everything their business is about. On the south side, we have a lot of good stuff. Second year participant in the Bronzeville neighborhood. I think this was Benita. Yeah, Benita Phillips. I had her missing on my list of Meet the Artist, and she very kindly corrected me. Happy to do so. This is a fun, very subtle window. Again, working with what they have, a lot of good stuff. They have the figure of a man, a chair, gazing out the window. Couldn't be more simple and more charming and respectful to everything they're about. A lot of good stuff. The Beverly Area Planning Association has an arrangement of paintings. I'm assuming these are from local artists. I'm still tracking down all the different artists that were involved. The last 3 years, more and more artists have gravitated toward project windows. I just organic uh, mechanisms, and we're happy to have them. And I love that the very clean, simple presentation, suspending the framed works of art in the window. Cakewalk, also in the Beverly area. Lori is a longtime participant. I think her store might be going through a transition, remodeling. She actually has a new storefront. It's looking very nice. And she created some Kaibot inspired Chicago themes to greet her customers in the Beverly area. The Blue Collective, which is new to me. And again, looks like it's an eclectic group of merchandise. And they basically use what they have. I love these upside down umbrellas hovering over the scene and incorporating what they have to tell the story of their business, inspired by the art theme. Essential Creation Chicago has a hand quilted creation design in the window, along with other crafts and art inspired merchandise. Very nice. And Everything's Relative Salon. I get this mixed up with Everybody's Coffee, but they explained to me that everyone's relative is because everyone that works here, or at least originally worked there, was somebody's relative. Nothing like a family business. So Joan does a good job every year crawling in her window, and she's been working the last couple of years with local artists to display their works in her storefront. And Sandberg Property, the GCA Unlimited Apparel on display, and they have kind of an inspire your world display with Kaibot boating scene and Kaibot sailboats. A lot of good stuff going on here at the Art Institute. Visiting the partners page, I'll be sure to put that in the description of the video. I am still tabulating votes from the professional judges, which is a panel of 7 community, civic leaders, association leaders, art curators, and business professionals. So while I'm working on that, the public voting is continuing until August 25th, Monday, August 25th. And of course, the awards party is Thursday, August 28th at the Art Institute. If you've not received your invitation, you're certainly welcome to to contact me. I'll include my email in the description of this video, along with a link to the partners page. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.